Welcome. Today we're doing a deep dive into something crucial for any project, smart budgeting. Specifically, how you factor in the unexpected, the risks, yes, but maybe some opportunities too.
Exactly. It's about getting beyond just the sticker price of your project components.
We're drawing on some really solid thinking here from the book Project Management for Project Managers by Orlando Casabon. The core idea, build a budget that reflects reality.
Absolutely. Helps avoid those last-minute panics and really sets you up for success.
So where do we start? I guess with the basics, the initial costs.
That's right. First step is always calculating the initial costs for everything involved. Just list them out.
Okay. Like, let's imagine a project. Maybe component A costs, say, 10,000 euro,
Yeah.
made up of a few smaller bits.
Sure. And then component B is maybe 20,000.
And component C, 30,000. Nice round numbers.
So you just add those up. 10 plus 20 plus 30. That's 60,000 euros. That's your base cost. Simple enough.
But, projects are rarely that simple, are they? That 60K feels a bit optimistic.
It often is. It doesn't account for uncertainty. And that's where the contingency reserve comes into play.
Ah, yes, the buffer for things that might go wrong or even right.
Exactly. It covers known uncertainties. We call them known unknowns. Could be risks adding cost or opportunities saving money.
So how do you figure out how much buffer you need? You can't just guess, can you?
Well, you shouldn't just guess. There's a technique called expected monetary value, or EMV. It helps quantify these things.
Okay, EMV, how does that work in practice? Let's take our example.
Right. So let's say for component B, there's actually a chance, maybe a 20% chance you could find a way to do it 3,000 cheaper.
Oh, an opportunity. So 20% of euro, that's
There's a
600
yeah.
euros.
Exactly. And since it's a saving, we treat its EMV as negative 600. It potentially reduces the overall cost.
Got it. But what about the risks? Let's say component C is a bit tricky.
Okay, maybe there's a 30% probability that component C runs over budget by, say, 5,000 euro.
Right, so 30% of 5,000 is 1,500 euro, and that's a potential increase in cost.
Precisely. So its EMV is positive 1,500 euro.
And you might have bigger picture risks too, right? Affecting the whole project.
Definitely. Let's imagine there's a 10% chance of some structural issue cropping up that adds $10,000 to the total cost.
Okay, 10% of 10,000 is another 1,000, another positive EMV.
Yep. So now you just combine these EMVs to get your net contingency reserve.
Right, so we had minus 600 for the opportunity.
Plus 1,500 for the component C risk.
Plus another 1,000 for the overall structural risk.
Add all that up. Negative 600 plus 1,500 plus 1,000 gives you 1,900.
So 1,900 is the contingency reserve we need based on those specific identified risks and opportunities.
That's the calculated amount, yes. It's not arbitrary. It's based on your analysis.
Oh, so final step then. The total project cost isn't just the 60,000 base cost anymore.
No, you add the contingency reserve to the base cost.
So 60,000 plus our 1,900 reserve.
Gives you a total estimated project cost of 61,900.
And that feels like a much more robust, realistic number to work with, doesn't it?
It really does. You've actively considered the potential bumps and even the lucky breaks. You're basing your budget on a quantified assessment of uncertainty, not just hope.
It's about being proactive with your finances, really, building that resilience in from the start.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Using EMV like this just makes your financial planning so much stronger.
For anyone wanting to dive deeper into this, and honestly, a whole range of essential project management topics, I really have to recommend the book we mentioned earlier, Project Management for Project Managers by Orlando Casabon.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
It lays this out very clearly. And it makes you think, doesn't it? Poses a great question for you, the listener. How could proactively identifying and quantifying risks transform your next project's success? Something to really mull over.